Thank you, Julie. Thank you all for being here to support this great new institution. Julie, I'm especially delighted to accept this award from you in light of your well-deserved honor at this same dinner last year. I'm deeply honored by this award, but also very much aware that what you are really honoring is the work over the last 11 years of my colleagues at ProPublica. I'm especially touched that we're joined here tonight by the legendary Paul Steiger, my friend, ProPublica's founder. Yes. And my boss first at the Wall Street Journal 25 years ago and then at ProPublica for its first 5 years. I also want to thank my wonderful wife, Julie Sogg-Seymour, and my amazing children, Rachel Ferrante and her husband, Cam, and my son, Colin Tofel, for being here tonight, and for, along with Rachel and Cam's son, Ozzy, keeping me grounded and making me a very lucky guy. I want to talk tonight very briefly about two things, a threat and an opportunity. I speak here as someone who has spent the best part of 35 years in and around the news business, as a press lawyer, a newspaper executive, and now as a business manager. In other words, I am not a news person myself, but I am a fellow traveler. In addressing a threat, there's lots I could say about the President of the United States and his sustained effort to undermine the Constitution generally and the role foreseen in it for the press. But you hear a lot about that at dinners these days, and so instead, I would like to talk about a threat. And John and I have never met, and we haven't coordinated this, but the threat I want to talk about is from Facebook. Facebook is, of course, one of 3 to 5 immense technology monopolies that are emerging. Like all monopolies, they come with considerable societal costs that can only be constrained by self-restraint or regulation. And of all these emerging tech monopolies, Facebook seems the one least interested in self-restraint, in taking meaningful steps to achieve anything but maximum profits. Why is this a particular issue for journalism? First, Facebook became one of the key online traffic drivers to news until, it seems in reaction to political scrutiny, after it was used by the Russian government as part of its effort to undermine the United States presidential election of 2016. After that, Facebook sought to limit scrutiny by downgrading the amount of news it shows to users. This hurts journalism seeking an audience, and it hurts us all, as many citizens, I believe, will simply consume less news. Next, Facebook, and here another emerging monopolist, Google, is in the same bucket, has fundamentally disrupted the market for online advertising by achieving previously undreamed of scale and by making previously impossible ad targeting possible. This is neither Facebook nor Google's fault. They simply built better mousetraps and better understood new technologies. But they have achieved something approaching monopoly power now, and economics teaches us that consumers will suffer for that, absent regulation or antitrust regulation, or antitrust action. Third, and particular again to Facebook, the company seems to fairly consistently display a moral blindness of the sort it must be the mission of journalism to expose in powerful societal actors. We and others have covered a good bit of this. We exposed Facebook's facilitation of racial and religious and age discrimination in housing and employment advertising and its enabling of hate. The company invariably said it was surprised and would fix it. In some cases they didn't, and we exposed it again. Rinse and repeat. In political advertising, Facebook promised greater transparency after the debacle of 2016. But its tool for that simply misses a lot of political ads and offers no transparency on targeting. Thus, if Facebook's proposed solution was the only response, we would actually still be losing the last war to the Russians. We devised a crowdsourcing tool of our own that addresses both of these weaknesses. Facebook threatened to shut our tool down ahead of the midterm elections, then faltered, probably feeling a backlash if they did so, but did shut it down early this year. ProPublica, I want to be clear, has by no means been alone in such coverage, but real journalistic scrutiny of this behemoth is spotty. And that brings me to my last point on the subject this evening. I hope the paucity of coverage, given the immensity of these stories, is not because Facebook spreads money around to publishers. A few years ago, they did it to spur the ill-fated pivot to video. Now it's money ostensibly for local news, about which Facebook sometimes claims to be concerned, and which, on other days, it insists it has no responsibility. I also hope publishers aren't afraid of Facebook tweaking its algorithm to depress their traffic. So to my fellow journalists, please join in working to hold this powerful actor to account, and to others here, as concerned citizens, users, and perhaps shareholders, please do your own part to ask this important corporation to display a stronger sense of corporate responsibility. I said that along with a threat. I want to also address an opportunity, and that brings me to the Newmark School and the reason we are here this evening. For all of journalism's challenges in 2019, and they are numerous, there are strong glimmers of good news. I truly believe that the best journalism today is generally the best journalism we've ever had. It's deeper. It's deeper, broader, more inclusive, more informed by a range of disciplines, more ambitious and adventurous. All of that requires a new generation of journalists undaunted by the economic challenges of our industry, entrepreneurial and nimble enough to adapt to its ever-changing circumstances, skilled in new ways and always willing to learn more, and diverse enough in gender and race, but also critically in family economic circumstance, to be able to divine and relate the full range of the stories of our time. If you were designing a journalism school to produce such people, you would, I think, come quickly to something very like the Newmark School. Indeed, you'd come to the Newmark School itself. It deserves your support. I want to join the voices already raised tonight in saluting Sarah and her team, and in thanking, yes. And in thanking my longtime friend Craig Newmark for his vision in this regard. If you are here tonight through the generosity of someone else or of one of the terrific companies and other entities that have already made this evening a success, I hope you'll reach into your own pocket, as I have, to add what you can to support the school. It can make a critical difference. Thanks again for this award and for your attention.